Hello, my yarn smithing lovelies. I'm Simon Henry, if you haven't seen me before, and welcome to my studio here in central UK. And this is where we gather to talk all things yarn craft. So today we're going to have a look at some yarn that I missed in last week's review of Turkish yarns. And I'm also going to start something new. If I've stumbled across something during the week that's a really good deal, I'm going to do like the deal of the week or whatever. I'll see you in a minute. So if you saw last week's video, you'll see that we did yarn from Turkey. I've done a lot of yarn from China, a lot of wool from Timu. Wool, this is an interesting one, and I had a little message from somebody that was saying the same. In the UK, going back a bit, we always used to say, let's go to the wool shop and I'm going to go and buy a ball of wool. It wasn't necessarily wool. It's just kind of what we called it. We didn't call it yarn. We called it a ball of wool. Or where I come from, in the UK, we say wool. We say. So we then got into a conversation about all things that we used to say. One of them said that, why don't we use the term Lorex anymore for anything that was sparkly? We used to say, are you wearing your Lorex top tonight? And we were also talking, go back and have a look, we were also talking about brushing mohair like mad to make it as big and fluffy as we possibly could. And one wrote that she knit her sister a bolero. That's another strange thing. A bolero to us in the UK, I don't know if it's the same everywhere else, is like a little short, kind of sleeveless, like top thing, a little waistcoat. And back in the 80s, everybody had a fluffy bolero. Angora, I think she said, which I've knit so many Angora boleros. Anyway, that was before the war, for the people who are young and don't remember all of that. So, like I said, when we were doing last week, there was a couple of things that I missed from Paradise Yarns or Ice Yarns, which is the thing that we were doing. One of them was this. And I ordered quite a bit of this because it really is lovely. I ordered just a sample, really literally to do a review on. And I liked it so much that I ordered quite a lot of that. So, I started off, I was kind of doing some, Christmas presents for the men. They don't watch this, so they're not going to see it. Who cares? And it's lovely. Knits up beautifully on 5.5mm needles. I think this was. It looks like it. It feels gorgeous. It really does. Even though it's 100% acrylic. Let me just have a look at the price there. Like I've said before on Ice Yarns and Yarn Paradise, because the way they work, they're creating new yarns all the time. So I'm going to give you the details. I'm going to put the details on the screen now. So if you go to Yarn Paradise website. I think it's yarn-paradise.com. Search for favourite tweed and this yarn will come up. Most of it's sold out already, which is what happens on there, so you've got to keep going back and looking and looking. You can actually leave a little note there with your email, and if they reproduce it they'll notify you when it's back in stock, which is quite handy. You have to buy it by the pack, and in one pack is 400 grams, 4 100-gram balls for £4.87. Now, as I said about Ice Yarns and about Paradise, Yarn Paradise rather, in your mind as you're looking through these things and adding stuff to your cart, kind of double it, because shipping from Turkey is very expensive. So just bear that in mind as you're doing. I've sat on there adding loads of stuff to the cart because it was so cheap, and then when I got there and they added the cost of shipping, it was still actually a lot cheaper than it would have been buying it over here. However, it was a bit of a shock at the end. It was a lot more expensive than I thought it was. But this is, say, what I missed last week, and it really is well worth a look and well worth a buy. So what I thought I'd also do this week, which is what somebody's asked me, as I'm researching yarn constantly, I'm looking all over the place for new yarns to bring to you, and every now and then I come across something that really is a massive bargain, and this week is no exception. I've got two things that I can show you. Now, one of them, I'm going to bring it onto the screen now, is from the range. Now, I actually didn't know that the range sold yarn. It's something I hadn't come across before. Apparently they've been doing it for a long time. I just missed it. And go to therange.co.uk, and at the moment they've got this on offer, which is yarn with sequins in, and it is this one. Each colour is a different price for some reason or other, but this one in the cream with sequins for 100 gram balls is 99p for 100 grams. So of course I went on there and ordered 20 balls of it with absolutely no idea what I'm gonna do with it, and it came in a big box, and I don't know, typically me, I thought, oh, that'll be nice. I thought, let's have 20 balls of that. So it knits to UK double knitting. It says on there use 6mm needles. That would give a very lightweight, very lacy open fabric. So I would say do it on 4mm needles, and it should knit to DK patterns. 99p. They've also got it in lots of different colours. I think there's kind of lilac and blue. I think it's in black, green, grey, this one cream, and like a soft pink colour. Well worth, for 99p, well worth just getting it and adding it to your stash. It's really pretty. So the next one, excuse me, I've got a bit of a sniffly. Oh, I'll get into trouble for that. Can you imagine? I'm not going to edit it out. And the haters will be going, you sniffed on camera. Look, your family, you're here, you're very welcome in my studio, my lovely yarn smithing family. Or, as a lot of people thought I've been saying, when I say hello my yarn smithing lovelies at the beginning, a lot of people have been thinking I've said yarn sniffing, lovelies. If you want to sniff your yarn, go ahead. I support you. I do. I sniff yarn. When I get yarn, I sniff it. That's a thing that comes from my design background. Quite often, if we weren't entirely sure what it was, or if it was natural fibres or whatever, like wool has got a... Did you hear that again? Every week that goes by, I forget to turn off the bingy bongy notification thing. And so every week there's a bingy bongy noise in. I'm going to leave a post-it note on the thing. Hold on, I'm going to turn it off now. I'm going to leave a post-it note on the thing. Turn off the bingy bongy before you start recording. Okay. So anyway, where were we? I don't know. I can't remember what I was saying. It really is no fun getting old. Honestly, you wait till you're my age. So the next one I want to tell you about is fabulous deal. This one. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. There it is. This one is from Yeoman Yarns. yeoman-yarns.co.uk, and it is chunky acrylic yarn. Look at the size of the cone. It's a kilo. A kilo of chunky acrylic that's gorgeous. Actually, it's what we call in the business blown. It's puffed up, it's not spun really tightly, so it's really bouncy, and you can see probably there how kind of bouncy it is. Knits probably 6mm needles. I love yarn on cones when I'm hand knitting. I always buy it obviously for machine knitting. Mostly I either get sent or I'll buy yarn on cones. You can see probably some of that behind me waiting to be done. So this for hand knit, like I said, 6mm needles I think would be about right for it. I got it also in this colour. I bought 2 cones of each colour, and for a kilo at the moment on sale is £10 for a kilo. I mean, you might as well just, you know, buy that and bung it in your stock, in your stash, and just leave it and wait and see, you know, what comes up. I do get into trouble sometimes because a lot of people say, you're showing us all this yarn but you're not showing us what you do with it. So here is a quick, I don't know if you can see, a quick little jumper that I knitted. It's really soft and gorgeous. That's going to be so warm as the weather gets cold. This used, because it's quite it's blown, so the yarn itself weighs very little, so there's an awful lot of yardage. I'll actually do a whole thing about that. And so I think that used, the whole thing was maybe 800 grams altogether, something like that. So, you know, with those 4 cones that I bought, I'm going to get at least 3 jumpers of that size. That's an extra large out of, you know, if I was knitting smaller garments, I would get quite a lot more. So pop over to Yeoman Yarns, have a look what's in the sale. I think I did a thing on those when I was doing the yarn on cones. I recommended Yeoman Yarns. I use those a lot. That's a thing to keep going back and having a look and seeing what they've got in stock, because it does change quite regularly. So that's this week's. Hopefully by the time you see this, the range and Yeoman Yarns will still have these things in stock. If not, it's worth just having a flick through and having a look to see what's available. So that was that. Now this week, you'll know that I've started putting the hate at the end of the yarn, and I thought this week let's have a change. Let's not do hate, let's do nice things this week. So let's have a look at some, because honestly the vast majority of the comments I get are really lovely. We've got a really nice following on this channel. In my experience of these things, people who yarn craft are really nice people. You get the odd one, you know, who always know better than you, and you get the moaners and all that kind of stuff. It's only knitting, love, and crochet. It's only a bit of yarn. We do it just to relax and, you know, just to enjoy the process. You know, we don't take it that seriously. It's a bit sad, really. It's a bit sad. I don't know if you saw a bit ago, there was is it the science guy or something that did something, and all these knitters went mad. Oh, he's you know, making our craft seem, you know, I've been in the industry. I've done this as part of my living for a long time, and I'm very lucky because I also do that for my own pleasure. I do it for me. I don't care what the rest of the world think about knitters. And, you know, are we clever? Is it art? Is it craft? You know, what is it? I don't care. I just do it for my own enjoyment. And it's lovely that now every week I can hopefully bring a little bit of that enjoyment to you. Anyway, I digress. I went off on one. So let's just go through one or two. Let's have a look. You know, new subscriber here. Love your channel and your energy. I think that's good. We had a little giggle on there. Let's see what else. Oh, there's the Bolero one. That was Bev Aberley, I think, and she said that she remembered knitting a bolero in fluffy yarn and brushing it up with a spiky hairbrush back in the day. Yeah, it's what we did. You know, Becky puts, my dear Simon, I too sniff when I touch yarn. I put it to my face for a feel. You do a wonderful job. Ignore the sad people, the rest of us adore you. Thank you, my darling. That's really nice of you. Another one, this is from Vicky. She's in Michigan. Vicky, hi Vicky. We've chatted a little bit on here, and it's lovely to get your posts, your comments rather. Thank you, Simon Henry. I'm 80 years old and I learned to knit at the age of 3. The younger generation has changed all the terms we used to know. Yeah, as we go along, things change, terms change. We're still doing the same thing. The fact that, you know, like I said a couple of weeks ago, in the UK, we used to knit DK or double knitting on what we called size 8 needles, which now they're calling 4mm, all kinds of stuff. If you can hear banging about upstairs, that's my husband banging about up here. We're family. You know, who cares? I'm going to get into trouble probably for that as well. You should have edited that out. No, I shouldn't. Let's have a look. She says at the end, you know, how much she enjoys it. Thank you for the wonderful videos. Stay safe, and happy knitting. Happy knitting to you, my darling. It's lovely to have you along. It really is. a lady from Bursa in Turkey, and she put what a nice surprise it was to read about or to see about Turkish yarns. She said that knitting and crochet has been her hobby since she was a child, and her mother is an excellent knitter too. Bursa is the silk. That's where they get silk in their country. And just yesterday, she was in the historical yarn bazaar there, and she bought 100% alpaca for knitting, and some merino wool, and all the yarn she bought were Turkish. Turkey makes. I think I said this about the Turkish yarns. The quality of Turkish yarns is exceptional. You know, when you buy from Turkey, you're not buying low quality. It's quite the opposite. They're you know, the second largest yarn producers and yarn processors in the world, China being the first. I don't think I've ever had a bad yarn that was spun in Turkey. Let's have a look. They don't know, funnily enough, Yarn Paradise or Ice Yarns. This is a company that these companies set up to bring Turkish yarns to us and to the rest of the world, so they don't buy that there. And she put one day she hopes that I'll go to Istanbul and visit the yarn bazaars. Well, actually, in June of this year, husband and I were on a cruise on Explorer Journeys. Anybody who loves to cruise, try Explorer Journeys. It was honestly out of this world. We were on Explorer 1 from Istanbul to Athens, and it truly was one of the best cruises we've done. It was brilliant. She says, you know, come to Istanbul. Yeah, we were there. I did the yarn bazaars. Unfortunately, because we flew to Istanbul and we flew back home from Athens, we were restricted on luggage weight, which meant that I couldn't fill my cases with all this fabulous wool that was there in the markets. I really was in heaven. Husband got a bit fed up. We go around and look at things for him as well. We don't only look at things for me, but I loved it. Absolutely loved it there. So what else? Somebody said that they appreciate knowing needle sizes. We had this little conversation last week saying that that yarn weight is very difficult when you're buying, especially off Temu. They don't put a lot of information on there. I have found recently on Temu UK, which is where I buy from, that they have started to put quite a bit more information. I think people are asking for it, and they've started to listen and put it up. So quite often when you look through everything, you'll see that they do put needle sizes. They are putting now the length, the meterage of yarn, and from that you can get a really quite a good idea what weight it is, what you're going to call that. There was, who was out? So there was lovely Margaret. She used to knit those sweaters for a wool shop, the mohair sweaters we're talking about in the 80s. Let's have a look. She got £5 a sweater for knitting the mohair things. And it says eventually she got promoted to Aaron's, which she loved doing Aaron. And she was given the largest men's size. And she got £8 for knitting an Aaron sweater. Can you see I'm talking about mohair? It's making my nose itch. I'm not even doing anything. Let's have a look. Lovely, lovely. Yabba dabba doo, Simon, you're a wonderful man. UK knitting terminology, well done. That's from lovely Sue. Oh, it's from Sue Dale. She's actually on the one of my Patreons on the Patreon site. She's lovely Sue. Talking of which, Patreon, if you want to pop over there and have a little look and see what we're doing, it's to become a member, I think, is just over £5 a month. There you get, when you're a member, access to all of the patterns, all of the make-alongs. At the moment, we're just doing a steeked Fair Isle cardigan, waistcoat together. I've just frightened them all to death this week. Let me find it, because we actually cut it this week. We actually cut the steeks this week. So now we're going to pick up the rib and do the button bands and the arm bands together. So that's going really well over there. So if you want to pop over and have a little look, the cutting the steak, I think I've got a feeling, did I leave that up for everybody? I know that there's a couple of the videos I've left for people to have a little look at who aren't paid members, so they can see what the paid members are getting. So I'll leave the stuff up there, pop over there. I don't think I've got anything else to tell you this week. I've just rambled on this week. I'll probably get some hate for that as well. So in the meantime, please like and subscribe. We're coming up to 5,000 subscribers and 200,000 views. Can you imagine? I've got no idea why 200,000 people would want to watch some bald fat bloke talking about yarn and knitting and crochet. However, it's really good to have you along. I really do enjoy our time together. So please like and subscribe. Like I said, it really does help out the channel. Pop over to Patreon and have a little look there. In the meantime, happy yarn smithing and happy yarn sniffing, if that's what you're into. Very much love as always, and I'm going to see you really soon. Bye.